Let us discuss with the next one. That is question number 8. For a reaction, so they have given a chemical reaction, that is X in gaseous phase plus of 3 times of Y in gaseous phase, which gives rise to 2 times of Z in gaseous phase, and they have given that delta H is equal to minus 40 kilojoules. The standard entropies of X, Y and Z is, so they are telling that the standard entropies of X, Y and Z are 60, 40 as well as 50 joule per Kelvin per mole respectively. The temperature at which the above reaction attains equilibrium is about. So this is the given data. So here they have given that delta H is 40 kilojoules. So this is converted into joules, means this will be 40,000 joules with a negative sign. Here change in entropy. So we know that the change in entropy, that is delta S naught, can be calculated by delta S of products minus delta S of reactants. So delta S of products means what? It is 2 times of S naught with reference to Z minus of, so reactants is X and Y. I can write it as entropy with reference to X naught plus of 3 times of entropy with reference to Y. So let us substitute all the products. So Z value is how much? Z value is 50 minus of X value is 60 plus of 3 into Y value is 40. So when I simplify with this, it comes out to be minus 80 joule per Kelvin per mole is the value of what? Delta S naught. So we know that according to Gibbs-Helmholtz equation, delta G naught is equal to delta H naught minus of T into delta S naught at standard conditions, that is at equilibrium. At equilibrium, we know that delta G naught is equal to 0. So when this delta G naught tends to 0, I can write the equation as delta H naught is equal to T into delta S naught, or I can write it as T is equal to delta H naught divided by delta S naught. So the value of delta H naught is given, which is nothing but 40,000 joules. That is divided by delta S naught is how much we have calculated. Delta S naught is 80. So both are with negative sign. That is minus of 40,000 minus of 80, minus minus get cancels. So this comes out to be how much? It is 500 Kelvin, and this 500 Kelvin is given by the option B. Next one, question number 9. So here when we analyze with question number 9, it has been given that which of the following is an intensive property, that is viscosity, surface tension, temperature, all of this. So here all of this, that is option D. Option D is true, because here one should know that intensive properties means the property which does not depend. So intensive property means the property which does not depend upon the quantity of substance. Property which does not depend upon the quantity of substance or quantity of matter present in the system is called as intensive properties. So here temperature, surface tension, and viscosity. Temperature, surface tension and viscosity, all these are the examples for intensive property. So based upon this, the correct option is D, which is true, all of the above. Next one, question number 10. So when it comes to question number 10, thermodynamic standard conditions of temperature and pressure is, so they are asking thermodynamic standard conditions. So standard conditions of what? Temperature as well as pressure. So one should know that the thermodynamic standard conditions of temperature and pressure is always the temperature is 25 degrees Celsius, which is nothing but what? 298 Kelvin, and the pressure is always 1 atmosphere. This is the thermodynamic standard conditions of temperature and pressure, which is given by the option B, that is 298 Kelvin and 1 atmospheric pressure. Next one, question number 11. So when it comes to question number 11 tells that entropy of the universe is, so when we consider universe, the entropy of the universe is increasing continuously. So entropy of universe is always increasing continuously, and OUSLY, entropy of the universe is always increasing continuously, and this entropy is considered as a randomness of a system, which is given by the option D. That is, option D tells that it is continuously increasing. Next one, question number 12. So when it comes to question number 12, question tells that in which of the following processes a maximum increase in entropy is absorbed, that is melting of ice, sublimation of naphthalene, condensation of water, dissolution of gas in water. So here increase in entropy means what? Increase in randomness. So the randomness gets increased in sublimation of naphthalene. A question arises, why sublimation of naphthalene? So this sublimation of naphthalene, which is given by option B, tells that sublimation is a phenomenon where the solid directly gets converted into a gaseous phase. So in gaseous phase, the randomness is maximum because the movement of particles is very much free. Due to that reason, randomness increases. Hence, in sublimation, the entropy is always increasing. Hence the correct answer is option B, that is sublimation of naphthalene. Next one, question number 13. Consider the reaction. So they have given a chemical reaction, that is carbon, solid, oxygen in its gaseous phase, that gives rise to carbon dioxide in its gaseous phase, plus of 393.5 kilojoule per mole. So this is the equation what they have given, and what they are, this is the equation what they have given, and they are asking that the signs of delta H, delta S and delta G respectively are. So when we analyze this equation, so this equation tells that it is exothermic. This equation tells that it is an exothermic reaction. That is, when the reaction is exothermic, delta H is negative as energy is released during the course of a reaction, as energy is released during an exothermic reaction. So as it is spontaneous. Now a question comes, as it is spontaneous, because now why it is spontaneous means the reaction is exothermic. When the reaction is exothermic, delta H is negative, as the energy is released during an exothermic reaction. Since it is spontaneous, delta G will be what? Delta G will be negative. So also in this case, the entropy or randomness, increases. Now a question comes, why randomness increases? Because it is solid, it is gas, totally converted into an gas, hence the randomness goes on increases while moving. Hence the randomness goes on increases while moving from left hand side to right hand side. Therefore change in entropy, that is delta S is always what? Positive, because on moving from LHS to RHS, randomness is increasing. Hence by this I can understand that delta H is negative, delta S is positive, and delta G, Gibbs energy, is negative, because spontaneous means delta G should be negative. Now a question comes, sir, since it is plus of 393.5, then why you are telling it as exothermic? Because when this energy equation is taken towards LHS and so much amount of energy is negative means what? Energy has been released. Hence it is considered as exothermic, where delta H is negative. So this is given by the option D, that is delta H is negative, delta S is positive and delta G is negative. Next one, question number 14. So when it comes to question number 14, if 1 mole of ammonia and 1 mole of hydrogen chloride are mixed in a closed container to form ammonium chloride gas, then what is the relationship between delta H and delta U? So first, to analyze this, we have to write an chemical equation or a chemical reaction, that is ammonia, which is a gas, upon reaction with hydrogen chloride, which is again a gas, which gives rise to ammonium chloride, which is also present in gaseous phase. For this, let us calculate the number of moles of a gas, that is delta Ng. So delta Ng means number of moles of product minus number of moles of reactants. Number of moles of product is 1, since both are gaseous. Number of moles of reactant is 2. Therefore, number of moles of a gas is how much? It is minus 1. So by this, we know that the relationship of delta H is equal to delta E plus of delta N into RT. But here what happens? Delta N is minus 1. Hence, I can rewrite the above equation as delta H is equal to delta E minus of R into T. By this, I can rewrite the equation as delta E is equal to delta H plus of R into T. Therefore, delta E is always greater than what? Delta H. Because here we know that delta E is nothing but is same as delta E is nothing but the energy, which is also equal to what? Delta U, where delta U is nothing but what? Change in internal energy, that is change in internal energy. So here delta E is greater than delta H, or you can also write it as delta E is greater than delta H, or else you can also write it as delta H is less than delta E, because in the option it has been given as delta H is less than delta E, where delta E is equal to what? Delta U. Hence, the correct option for the given question is what? Option A, which is given by the option A, that is delta H is less than delta E, where delta E is nothing but it is delta U. In the option A, it has been given that delta H is less than delta U.